And welcome one, welcome all. The final Wednesday of the homestand for the Firebirds of Carthage as they take on the Blue Jays of Elmhurst in the Battle of the Birds, the CCIW regular season championship on the line if Carthage comes away with a win. Hello everybody, alongside my broadcast colleague Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Eric set the stage for us. We've said it already, we'll say it again. Carthage wins. They get the outright regular season championship, as we see with the records there, having the tiebreaker over Illinois Wesleyan. This weekend's contest wouldn't matter for the standings. They'll be hosting the CCIW championships.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have the advantage to be in the driver's seat, right? They don't need any help. They control their own destiny. So if Carthage, as you said, wins it tonight, which is a team they've beaten before, albeit a very close game, as we'll see in a moment, you expect Carthage to be able to come out on top and really seal the deal. And here are the stats from last game. Ryan Johnson and A.J. Johnson both led the way, scoring over 20 points each, and that was the free throw game that the Johnson brothers were a perfect 20 of 20 from the free throw line. Ryan Johnson with 23 points and A.J. Johnson with 21. And someone who had a little bit of an off night last time these two teams met was Tegan Pearson. Shot 4 of 12 from the floor, 17 points, but inefficient. And if you heard about his game last time out against North Park, Tegan Pearson lit it up. 40 points against the Vikings of North Park, and that was to get over 1,000 points in his career, and actually tied a school record with 8 3-pointers. So he's coming into this game with a lot of confidence.
Carthage has only lost one time since that Elmhurst game that started their nice little win streak. They lost to North Park December the 20th, or excuse me, the 4th of January, and then defeated Elmhurst the 8th of January. They've only lost one time since the 8th of January, and that again was to North Park, who had their season sweep. And now let's look at the season statistics for Carthage. Second overall in points, first overall in three-point percentage, the opposing three-point percentage second, but the big one, as you mentioned, first in free throw percentage.
Yeah, and that's something that Carthage has leaned on all season, is when they get that lead at the end of games, they really have that advantage, as if the teams have to foul, Carthage, for the most part, goes down and calmly knocks down both free throws, and that has been a way that they have closed out game after game this season, and that is what got them to the point that they're at right now, with just a one win away from coming out with a victory. But on the other side of the coin with Elmhurst, I mean, we talked about Carthage having a good three-point shooting team. Elmhurst right behind them in third, and they have the second leading three-point shooter in aforementioned Tegan Pearson, who is second in the conference at three-point percentage, 43%. So, and we just mentioned, tied a school record at 8 3-pointers, so they're going to like to shoot it outside, and they have a lot of height up and down the lineup. A lot of guys on their bench all coming in at 6'5", and this is going to be a physical game from beginning to end, all 40 minutes. It's really going to be a battle, and it's going to be fun to see who comes out on top.
You know, and one thing to mention, we talked about the recency of both of these teams. Again, a 4-game winning streak for the Firebirds, and 10 out of their last 11 as well. But on the flip side for Elmhurst, they've won 2 out of the last 3, including a 97-83 victory against North Park. So the team that's been the thorn in the side, 2 out of the 3 losses for Carthage, has been Elmhurst. And so that shows me, if you know the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Elmhurst, if they had the ticket against North Park just a few days ago, that might lead to some troubles here for Carthage. But nonetheless, we'll take a step back, hand it over to Justin Corrigan, the PA announcer, to introduce us to the game this evening.
Elmhurst University Blue Jays and your Carthage College Firebirds. Please direct your attention towards the American flag located at the north end of the arena. It draped over the coffin of Captain Frank Vavrin, a former Carthage student who died in Vietnam in 1970. The flag is a gift to the college from his parents. In remembering Captain Vavrin, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives for our country and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. At this time, we ask that you please rise if able and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem by the Carthage College Pep Band. right, fans, it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Blue Jays of Elmhurst. At guard, a 6'2 junior from Wooddale, Illinois, number 0, Sebastian Blahout. At forward, a 6'5 junior from Westchester, Illinois, number 1, Dominic Trellenberg. At forward, a 6'5 freshman from Moline, Illinois, number 10, Vidi Ajong Hung Beta. At guard, a 6'2 freshman from Carmel, Indiana, number 11, Jack Cherry. And at guard, a 6'3 graduate student from Westchester, Illinois, number 21, Tegan Pearson. The head coach of the Blue Jays is John Baines. Coach Baines is assisted by John Cheng, Melissa Schwab, Aiden Cheng, and Nick Fertitta. All right, Firebird fans, make some noise. It's showtime.
Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fall and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she can shred. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie get made.
Every other night, another dollar getting made. Every other night, started with a good day. I feel like a child, I got boogers in the face. I'm dancing in the dollar, this is a parade. I don't want your train, I'm going on another slave. I had that drama, like too many niggas to get insane. TSL running, so I took a private plane. Keep looking just like I'm working on my hand. Drip too hard, charge to the car. Designer to the grind, I can balance better name.
Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fall and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she can shred. Do this all the time.
And now the starting lineup for your Carthage College Firebirds. At guard, a 6'3 junior from Whitney Young High School and hailing from Chicago, Illinois, number 4, Hey J. Williams. At forward, a 6'7 sophomore from Oswego East High School in Oswego, Illinois, number 10, Ryan Johnson. At guard, a 6'5 sophomore from Ripon High School in Ripon, Wisconsin, number 11, Riley Brooks. At guard, a 6'3 junior from Oswego East High School in Oswego, Illinois, number 15, Hey J. Johnson. And at guard, a 6'3 junior from Wakanda High School in Wakanda, Illinois, number 21, Griffin Dawn. The head coach of the Firebirds is Steve Jurakovic. Coach Jurakovic is assisted by Tyler Pierce and DeAndre Evans.
And welcome in. Looking at the starting lineups now between the Blue Jays and the Firebirds. Looking at the Firebirds, Williams, Johnson, Brooks, A.J. Johnson, and Griffin Dawn in your Battle of the Birds. And again, we previously showed you the starting lineup for Elmhurst. With that being said, the Blue Jays going to be heading right to left. And oh, there we go once again. Looking at your starters for the Blue Jays, it's going to be Blahout alongside Trellenberg, number 1, out of Westchester, Illinois. Ajahong Beta is going to be at your forward position, Cherry and Pearson at your 2 remaining guards. Ryan Johnson going to start things off along the middle, alongside Blahout out of Wooddale, Illinois. Firebirds wearing the home grays, red numbers and letters, black trim. Tip off, back to Brooks, and we're underway in what can be a huge historic evening for the Carthage College Firebirds.
An interesting note, last game, Carthage fell behind 14-2 to start the game, so Firebirds looking to start out a little better than they did last time out against this Blue Jays team.
Johnson looking for the pass to Williams to reset. Man-to-man defense for the Blue Jays. Brooks gets the screen, open for 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Trifecta to start things off for the Firebirds.
A wide open look there for Riley Brooks, and we know Riley Brooks, once he gets going early, he can stay hot through the game, and so seeing that first one drop through, big boost for Riley Brooks here.
A.J. Johnson picking up the pieces. after the miss by the Blue Jays. Again, for those that are joining us for the first time, thank you. Once again, if the Firebirds win, they will host the CCIW Championships and win the regular season title. If you looked at this lineup a year ago, you would say, okay, it's some question marks. Williams up and under, misses, gets his own rebound, bounce pass out, and a whistle's going to be called. And I think it has to do with potentially the shot clock not restarting. I think there was a judgment call whether it hit the rim or not. That's my interpretation, as the officials are now huddling just off of midcourt.
Yeah, I believe they are going to have to go to the monitor here to see, because, yeah, the ball did not hit the rim. It looks like the shot clock reset, and now they're going to have to figure out just about how much time they're going to put back on the shot clock for Carthage. It's not going to be much, because I think that was close to the end of the shot clock when A.J. Williams was getting the ball there, so they're going to have to review that. So a little bit of a pause here early in the game.
Well, it gives us a moment to, take an early breath and welcome you in. But to go off of our earlier point, Eric, once again, for Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri on the broadcast this evening for the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Selfishly speaking, I said to one of the representatives for Carthage walking in today that at least if they win, we know that there will be another game for us to broadcast. But with that being said, Belatovich, gone. Campbell, gone. Nesbitt, injured. That's 3 of your starting 5 from a year ago. Not only did they not miss a beat, they took a step forward. And I think there's so much to be said for that, Eric. Again, you've been around this program, this team, a long while, and you can't diminish what this team has done and how they've bought into Coach Steve Jarakovic.
Yeah, it's just so fun to see this team really rise under the tutelage of Steve Jarakovic. And Coach Jarakovic has talked about how, that first season was a struggle. And he took a few lumps in the conference, but, as Carthage lost in the first few seasons here, you just have seen how they've built and gained that momentum. And every single year, this team has gotten better. And something to keep in mind, too, is A.J. Johnson was missing for most of last year as well. And he's been, someone that it not always lights up the scorebook per se, but just a huge factor for the Firebirds and how he can control the game and how he can dictate the offense and time again can take the big shot. So, it's just been amazing to see this team get to this point, and they know how important this game is, because it's one thing to get to this point, it's another thing to close the deal against a tough team like Elmhurst.
Well, I think a question to ask yourself, too, is, and I think it's so vital, and I think we're going to get an answer momentarily, is how much truly was left. It was under 10, surely, but enough that Carthage is going to keep possession, and it looks like they have put 1 second on the shot clock.
I didn't think it was going to be much, but I thought maybe more than one solitary second.
It can't be less than that.
I have to try to tip this in.
Got the ball off, and no rim either that time around. So it's a 3-0 start for the home Firebirds over the visiting Blue Jays of Elmhurst. Mishandle is Blahout.
Now it's Tegan Pearson taking his first shot. So as we mentioned, tied a school record at 8 3-pointers last game.
The phenomenal A.J. Johnson delivers a nice layup with a drive on the left side. 5-0 your score in the first 2 minutes of action. The lefty for 3. Rims out, no good. Another rebound for Brooks.
Trellenberg, another good three-point shooter for this team. He's up over 38%, so they like to lean on those two guys. They'll get some three-point shots up, but someone like Jack Cherry, he's more of a direct type of player, and he likes to use his strength to get inside.
Ryan Johnson comes away with the rebound. Tough defense by Brooks, forcing the ill-advised shot by the aforementioned Jack Cherry out of Carmel. Indiana went to Guerin Catholic.
And something we've known with Elmhurst, they can get hot fast. And you saw their scoring output getting up close to, 97 points last game. So no matter what, Carthage trying to build a lead here early, but Elmhurst is the type of team that can really cut into a lead quickly with the type of firepower they have.
Nice inbound, clean pass to Riley Brooks, 7-0 your score. I know you were ashamed of me this past weekend and didn't want to join me in the booth. But with that being said, did you redeem your Culvers because they scored over 70 points?
I have to talk to the coupon holder here. I'm owed a few cheese curds.
Okay.
I haven't gotten one yet. And,
oh, my, not even one.
No, a little slow to get to the coupon handout spot.
Stepping up for three, still can't buy a bucket, are the Blue Jays. I finally got my first one that I was able to redeem the game against Illinois Wesleyan. So just the celebration continued for the Firebirds. Quite a few players were at Culver's after the game. And right now, Carthage with a sound 9-0 lead. Elmhurst right now scoreless from the field, and the shots have been close. I don't want to take away from that. But with that being said, the second chance points haven't been there. The rebounds haven't necessarily been there either. So I'm sure that's a conversation point right now with head coach Josh Baines in his 12th season at the helm.
Yeah, as I mentioned that Elmhurst is the team that got out to the early lead. Here, Carthage returning the favor, and credit to Carthage's defense so far. It's been one and done, as he mentioned. No offensive rebounds so far, and that is a big component to the Elmhurst offense. Is they like to crash those boards, and they have a lot of good offensive rebounders. And if Carthage can continue to keep Elmhurst to one and done, you gotta like how that's going to work out for the Firebirds tonight.
We will also keep you afloat of the same matchup between these two institutions on the women's side. Huge postseason implications. We'll get to that momentarily. Offensive foul by Vinny Adjahung Beta.
So the freshman there just getting a little aggressive on the screen, and the refs get him for it. And Elmhurst still scoreless here with another empty possession.
But again, the two teams are playing in Elmhurst on the women's side. Griffin Dawn backs in. Nice shake and bake to the baseline. Gets his name on the board, 11-0.
I think you see some of these scouting reports, and you take a look at shot charts, and I'm telling you right now, Griffin Dawn's shot chart would be a solid circle around that block. Teams know he's trying to get there, and he still gets there and is able to be effective.
Brooks tries to draw some contact, no whistle. Johnson with the left-hand pass. Brooks extending the defense far. Dawn, and a blocking foul is going to be called. I was hesitant to make the call because I thought it might have been a charge. Blocking nonetheless. Tegan Pearson is going to be called for his first personal, also out of Nazareth Academy. So 3 players currently on the squad for Elmhurst, former teammates for Nazareth. Makes a lot of sense because they are a stone's throw away from each other when you have a college and a high school oh so close to one another.
Just noticed Tegan Pearson's got like the football line, those thigh pads there. So when he went to try to take that charge,
he's ready for it.
Yeah.
Riley Brooks making it rain from the outside, 14-0. Elmhurst being blanked in the first 5 minutes of action. Uncharted waters for both squads. And Brooks, I believe, is going to be called. Indeed, Brooks is going to be called on the 3-point shot by Talon Pearson, the younger brother of Tegan Pearson, and he's going to go to the line.
And that's one way to get back in the game here. I mean, kind of an uncharacteristic foul there, and it's one, if the shots aren't going in, and even the first free throw not going in, but you see the confidence from the freshman. He just got out there and letting it fly
Yeah.
a few seconds into being in the game.
Pearson the younger, second free throw. Misses. Eric, I do not recall a time in my career where I've seen a drought to start the game extend this long. And I'm old. At least that is what one of the, and there's the shot. First point, 14-1.
And I was just thinking, if it's 2 consecutive missed free throws to get those cheese curds, what would 3 consecutive missed free throws be?
Maybe it's the double. Maybe it's the cheese curds and the sundae. You get them both.
That would really get the Tarble on their feet. And I mentioned before, Riley Brooks, I mean, it's crazy to, see that. He's a confident shooter, but as I mentioned, once he makes that first one, it feels like everything else is going in after it.
Williams had his foot on the line, misses. Why not? Offensive board. One of the best in the CCIW this season. Huge accolades this week as well, Eric.
Yeah, the student athlete of the week, and just so reliable.
Taking Pearson, the grad student.
And yeah, Ryan Johnson, and I mean, these leading rebounder in the CCIW, and you can almost count on him to be at or near double-double every game.
The big man looks long range, back iron, high rebound. The Blue Jays an opportunity to cut the lead down to 10. Driving the lane, easy layup for Sebastian Blahout. You and I have been around the program a while now, Eric, and that was one of the deficiencies for Carthage in years past. That give and go, the screen and go, the baseline, it just would be open. Ryan Johnson just deciding to hit threes. I mean, it's just a different team this year offensively and especially defensively.
And Elmhurst is a team I can remember in years past where they just were overmatched the Firebirds just physically a couple times. I believe Ocean Johnson is a name that comes to mind as someone who is just a handful for the Firebirds to deal with, but they have gotten this roster to a point where they can compete with anybody in the CCIW, and Elmhurst now standing.
Well, and nice shot by Griffin Dawn. Griffin Dawn is a X-Factor player last season. This year, starter. Brooks wasn't on this team last year. Starter, one of the best scorers in the CCIW. Ryan Johnson, rotational starter at the 4. Sometimes would come in and be the 6th man. Already, in contention for player of the year. I mean, just all the stars are aligning for the Firebirds. Brooks, turnaround jumper, side iron, no good. 21-8 your score.
Tough shot there from Riley Brooks, but he's got that kind of, almost the tougher the shot is, the more he's likely to make it. Not able to connect there, but a wild turnaround fadeaway there from him.
Left-hand shot up, no good by Trellenberg. 21-8 your score. The bench of Elmhurst with a unique chant right now. I can't understand what they're saying, but it sounds like, the birds from Finding Nemo, like mine. And an offensive foul, that's going to be called on Ryan Johnson, setting the illegal screen at the top of the key. Johnson's going to have fouls, but those aren't ones you necessarily want.
And he was, seeing trying to get some clarification at what he did there, but it's one of those things as a referee. I mean, there's going to be a lot of screens every game, but you can't let teams try to get away with a little extra on those screens and get an unfair advantage. And refs have now called 2 illegal screens, one on each team here early on.
That looked like a double dribble, no call, missed shot. Running it down, able to do so is Adjahung Beta. I believe the officials are saying there was a touch. I didn't quite see it from my vantage point, but nonetheless, we play on. Under 10 on the shot clock, the deepest the Blue Jays have gone in this sequence. Swiped away, Colton Sigel is checked into the game with 1. Shot clock expires, back rim, no good. Sigel with the board. Arnold also in the contest, along with the big man, Nemi Stojic. Sigel, three-pointer. Oh, rims around, no good. Dawn the offensive board. Kicks it out for Brooks, who pump fakes. Hand in his face. No good again. Griffin Dawn runs it down. Throws it off the leg of the defender. Pearson, and I'm out of breath.
Wow, a lot going on there. And yeah, just Carthage going with a little more of a line change type of substitution than they normally do. Getting Garrett Arnold in there, along with, as you mentioned, Stojic and Sigel. So Carthage turning to their bench after an extended period with their starters. And this is an area where Elmhurst, can they capitalize on some of the bench players for the Firebirds sitting down? Some of the starters, I should say, being on the bench.
Sigel thought about pulling the trigger. Kicks to the top for Dawn. Pump fake, drives in, trifecta, and one. Griffin Dawn decides to jump into the sea of baby blue and is able to get the N1 opportunity.
And that's something that's been fun to see Griffin Dawn really explode on the offensive end, because we've known he's kind of been that Swiss Army knife type of player. He will constantly guard one of the best offensive players in the other team, great at offensive rebounds, as you saw just a few moments ago, grabbing two. But to see him blossom offensively has been a huge reason why the Firebirds have stepped up this season.
23-8 your score.
And Elmhurst just 25% from the field to start the game. 3 of 12. Carthage at a sizzling 56%.
Shot clock down to 5. Pearson, the turnaround jumper, no good. Dawn with the rebound. This past weekend, Carthage had one of the lowest shooting percentages of the season. Still found a way to win. And one of my talking points was if they found themselves at a higher percentage, nobody in the conference is going to stop them. Dawn pulls up, couldn't find it. Estoya tries to poke from behind to no avail. 23-8, 9:35 remaining in the opening half of action. Swiped away by Dawn. Those are the type of plays that you cannot stress enough. That shows the resiliency of Carthage.
Yeah, Griffin Dawn gets one of those a game, maybe two, and just gets the ball back in. And that's another turnover, something that has plagued Elmhurst, is they're at -3 in the turnover margin this season. And Colton Sigel getting in on the three-point party for the Firebirds.
Sigel with the three bomb, also got nudged from behind, no call. 26-8. Eric, I don't know a start I've ever seen like this.
We'll see what the call is there, but yeah, I mean, something as Carthage, knowing what is on the line here, there's been no letdown right out of the gate, jumping to the 18-point lead. But as I've mentioned before, Elmhurst has gone on a couple of streaks. There was at one point last game Carthage and Elmhurst played. Elmhurst went on a 23-6 run where they got ahead of the late in the game, 62-56. So as I've mentioned, they can go on a run with guys like Dominic Trellenberg, a talented offensive player.
Arnold almost comes away with the steal. Baseline three and able to find it. Pearson, the elder, brings the game back to within 15.
And that's the reason why this team can score in bunches, is the second leading three-point shooter in the conference can hit it from anywhere, and he just needs a second to get free.
And that's going to be called against Arnold on the offensive side. So one time is fair. Now this is two times that offensive screen has gotten called, once against Arnold, once against Johnson. That's something you got to keep your eye on now.
Yeah, and that one I think was an easy one. I mean, Arnold, from what I could see, wasn't close to getting his feet set, just bowled over Pearson. As we take a look at this last possession here.
That was the earlier drive by Elmhurst when we were talking about the rarity of those type of plays happening. And as we look at the numbers, 13-7 is the rebound differential, and there's no other way to put it. You out-rebound a team by that many, and then you shoot 55% to 28. It just adds up very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, basketball can be simple if you make more shots than the other team, can shoot it at a better percentage, and limit second chance opportunities. That is a recipe for success on most nights. And it'd be interesting to see where Elmhurst turns here and try to get back and get this game closer before they get into the second half. And there's the guys we just mentioned, Trellenberg, can score at all 3 levels, great three-point shooter. They're able to cut, get to the basket.
Have a quick volleyball shout out as the Boyser family is here. She played for the Elmhurst Blue Jay volleyball team that gave Carthage all sorts of fits this season. Carthage able to come out on top of that matchup. But Boyser, a very elite volleyball player. Saw them here earlier today, so even Elmhurst bringing some fans up north to Kenosha. Hope their Google Maps didn't divert them as much as they diverted me. I don't understand. Sometimes but you don't want to get stuck on the highway, and who knows, but Ryan Johnson blocks away the Trellenberg attempt. 26-13. Out-of-town score 17-14. Firebirds over Elmhurst on the women's side. Again, if the Firebirds women's team wins, they at least secure a spot in the postseason with the potential to host on Tuesday. So we'll keep you afloat of that situation. It's, as somebody said a week or so ago after the win against Illinois Wesleyan for both the men and women's team on the Marquee Sports Network, is they said, what a time to be a fan of the Firebirds. Huge wins there. The men's and women's lacrosse team are looking very good this season. Picking up the dribble, looking for a place to go with it. Ejahung Beta drives in, floats in with the right hand. Nice look.
Ejahung Beta really is improved as the year has gone on. I mean, you can see some of the striking tools that he has. I mean, just the wingspan. And he has become a great rebounder, had double-digit rebounds in their last game.
Ryan Johnson has it poked away the first time and punched away a second.
It's a little head-to-head matchup between Trellenberg and Ryan Johnson. They've been battling down low the last couple possessions.
Block from behind Brooks. A few pump fakes, huge swat by Johnson. He just kind of shakes his head no. Blahout was not going to get anything clean, and Williams with the okey doke lead back to 15.
How about that? I was just thinking Blahout got blocked by both brothers. I don't think that's happened this season in the same possession. So both AJ and Ryan picking on Blahout down low. And as you see, the opportunistic AJ Williams with a nice basket.
I think that's a very good way to put it. Williams picks his shots. Nice screen off the top. And Jack Cherry able to cherry pick that three-pointer.
Yeah, AJ Williams, not a guy that really is trying to beat you off the dribble. Not somebody who's going to really try to work you down offensively. And he's all about coming off of screens and finding ways that he can slash and cut to the basket.
Ryan Johnson tries a little bit of a fade away instead of going in strong. Soft roll off the back iron. Sigel goes for the steal, nothing there. Driving in, and Ryan Johnson says, welcome to the block party. Huge block for the Firebirds.
Ryan Johnson, I believe, has 3 of those early. One of the better shot blockers in the conference. And he eliminates Jack Cherry right there. What a defensive force he's been all season as well to go with his offensive output.
Pearson rattles it in and good. Elmhurst slowly but steadily back to within 10. They're trailing by 9.
Ryan Johnson with 4 blocks already.
Pearson drives it in, and a timeout's going to be called by head coach Steve Jarakovic. Lead down to 7, up to 8 points now. Very quietly, but firmly is Tegan Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why he is one of the best scorers in the CCIW, 4th in the conference at scoring. And there you can see Griffin Dawn taking it strong to the left side. And here I think we're going to see Aja Hong Beta. And again, it really has improved footwork getting down low. And this is going to be the double Johnson block here. But as I said, I mean, Elmhurst, we mentioned we're down early, started really cold and slow, but already have crawled back to within 7.
Yeah, it is an 8-0 run for Elmhurst in the past 67 seconds. They've come back, and they've come back quickly.
Yeah, Coach Jurakovic just calling the timeout there. Had to stop the momentum, gather the troops up again. Let's see what he's drawn up here in this possession.
Floats up with the right hand. Riley Brooks makes every shot look easy.
I can't believe, I mean, I think he thought he was fouled there because he was putting his hands up like, how did I not get fouled? But I was kind of doing that like, how did you put that in? The one-handed floater.
Into the contest now is Aiden Boone out of Libertyville, Illinois. The pump fake got Dawn off the feet. The lefty looks for 3, nothing but the bottom of that by Trellenberg. And just like that, Elmhurst within 6.
Trellenberger, really good shooter off the catch, as you can see there. It doesn't need much space or time to get that off, and just a flick of the wrist and right in.
One more pass to A.J. Johnson. Delivers on cue. 35-26, back to 9.
If you like the 3 ball, this is a good game for you. Both teams combined for 10 3-pointers already. And how about number 11 there?
Talon Pearson. So the Pearson boys lighten it up from outside after the early struggles for the entire Blue Jay team. They are now 5 for 11 from 3. Offensive foul called. That is a 3rd offensive foul called this half off ball. So Nemanja Stojic is coming in as Ryan Johnson gets his 2nd foul. And if you're the Elmhurst Blue Jays, how can we take advantage of the Firebirds or find any sort of advantage? It's get Johnson on the bench, and that's what they've done right now.
And Trellenberg, after he knocks down that 3, puts the chest into Ryan Johnson, draws the charge, and Trellenberg is really frustrated Ryan Johnson here early. And again, you can see why Dominic Trellenberg, one of the best players in the CCIW, offensively and defensively.
So something to note, Riley Brooks now has the tape on his right wrist and thumb again. He had that a few months ago, which affected his shooting ability. Didn't do so on that possession. 38-29 your score. Boone with the unique shot.
He's hit 30% of those. I mean, it doesn't look like the most confident shot, but he's taken 86 threes and he's knocked down 30% of them. So not unheard of for him to take that shot. Just way short, and that is the first attempt.
So Dawn going to the line, shooting 2. Dawn, the 4th leading scorer on the squad, a .670 free throw shooter, makes the first. Something that this Steve Jurakovic squad prides himself on, his efficiencies at the line.
And as an alum of the UW-Madison, I was watching the Badgers game last night, and I was surprised to see they're on pace for the best free throw shooting team in NCAA history. And it just brought some comparisons to this Firebird team, because both those teams win in similar ways, is that if they get that lead, they're so effective as just calm, like I said, knocking down free throw after free throw. And that is an underrated way to win games. It's not the most exciting way to win games as at the free throw line, but effective nonetheless.
Almost poked away. Brooks able to pick up the pieces. Strong pass in, lead back to 10. Williams thought about pulling the trigger from 3. Turnaround, Driving in. Nowhere to go
Gotta
is
go.
Johnson with one, and Stojic tries the fadeaway and a shot clock violation. And head coach Jarakovic telling his team, you got to talk about it. He had the hand motion going and all. You got to communicate. Somebody on that side of the court has to count down for you. You know, and that's a lot of times where the Tarble Arena faithful come into play. Like, hey, help your team.
Yeah, and I think AJ Johnson clearly didn't know how much time there is, because I think if you had asked Nemi, hey, do you want the ball with 2 seconds left on the shot clock? That would not be a situation Nemi likes to excel in. But Trellenberg, this guy is tough, man. Knocks down another three-point shot. But yeah, Nemi, again, probably didn't need that last pass from AJ Johnson, but here we go. This is going to be a crucial possession here.
Brooks fighting his way in. The pump fake, the turnaround jumper. Stojic tries to swat it away, not able to do so.
Looks like they're going to slow it up here.
And mine as well. 8-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So if you're Elmhurst, you want to use as much of it as possible. The no look. Pearson, soft off the front iron, no good. And the Firebirds can hold on for the final shot of the opening half of action. 7-point lead. It was in double digits for most of the opening half. Johnson, the kick out, wide open. That's the shot you want. Couldn't quite find it. Riley Brooks can't get the three-pointer. Before we send it to the halftime action, 39-32, Eric, initial thoughts.
Yeah, Carthage jumps ahead early in the game, but Elmhurst had another punch that they cut the lead down, and Carthage just seems like to be a little bit more efficient offensively as Elmhurst struggled early on, but Elmhurst isn't going anywhere, and this is looking to be another close one here in the CCIW.
We'll take a timeout, stand aside for the Spirit team and Pep squad, and when we return, halftime report and more. 39-32 on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Doctors of Physical Therapy, Comprehensive Orthopedics, Golden Oil Company, Lee Mechanical, Pepsi, Riley Construction, Satori Energy, Badger Bus, Bridge 410, BSN Sports, Composing Construction, Catalyst Exhibits, Culver's, La Stella Hotel and Ballroom, and H Imaging.
Being a student athlete at Carthage, you get the best of both worlds, honestly. You get to learn, grow in the classroom, and then also be a part of the sport that you've fallen in love with since you've been playing it. You get the one-on-one support from the teachers, and then you get the help from your teammates as well.
The athletics teams here at Carthage, they're like really good. Some of the achievements that we had during this past year, the volleyball team won the national championship 2 times in a row, like 2 years in a row. So it was incredible to see it because we are like a unit. So it's really nice like to have everyone together and cheering for just one thing.
So the athletic facilities at Carthage, they're new and improving each and every year. We have the baseball, softball, and football field that all of our athletes compete on. There is the Tark, which houses the baseball weight room. There's the actual gymnasium itself, so Tarble Arena for men's, women's basketball, volleyball. And then obviously the swimming pool that is also in the Tark, and upstairs there's the field house. We've added the Nest, which is a recovery room for all of our student athletes. There's massage guns, there's granola bars, there's other food items. So we have a lot of nice things in that room that you can sign up, take it, and it's completely for free. There's so many great opportunities. The athletic staff super kind, your coaches care about you. There's just so much that goes into being a student athlete that it's an experience I would not take back.
The Aspire program is part of the Aspire Center, and the Aspire Center is our 4-year career and professional development program here at Carthage College. The Aspire program is really different and unique from other colleges and universities' career programs because instead of what the typical experiences of senior year trying to go get a job or an experience after college, we want students to build their experiences starting from day one. So whether that means going and finding an alumni panel that they're going to learn from an alumni about the career industry that they're excited about, or if it means getting an internship or a research experience that's going to build their portfolio, we want the students to develop and learn who they are so they can really leave Carthage with a very good sense of purpose and understanding before they actually leave the college. Every student that comes to Carthage has their own individual career specialist. This is a person who specializes in the industry field that they're going into. For example, we have a career specialist for our arts, communication, and culture students. This is a person who's been working as a graphic designer for the past 20 years. And she's responsible for helping those students get opportunities and experiences along the way.
I landed my first internship as a freshman at Deloitte, which is #1 of the Big 4 accounting firms in the world. Through the Aspire program, I was able to develop skills that helped me in interviews as well as networking with other professionals.
(39-32) your score on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Hope you enjoyed the halftime festivities, dance team, spirit team, cheer squad, and a fun game at Tarble Arena off the lakefront of Lake Michigan. Hello, everybody. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Eric, it was kind of the talk near the concession stand. Not that I necessarily went there, but I did. And, you know, kind of the buzz was people saying, we knew that the Blue Jays were not going to shoot that poorly the entire first half. Carthage weathered the storm, took the hit, bounced back. Carthage didn't necessarily stop shooting well themselves, and that's why we see a 39-32 lead.
Yeah, I mean, Carthage has led the entire game here, and we see the halftime stats. And the one thing that stands out as well is both teams shooting really well from behind the arc. The Blue Jays knocking down 7 out of their 17. Carthage at half of their 12 have gone in. And the hot shooting of the Blue Jays behind the arc is really what has kept them in this game, because after starting so slow, they found themselves, as we mentioned, 18 points behind at one point. But when you have guys like Tegan Pearson, Dominic Trelleberg, And even the younger brother, Talon Pearson, they've really been able to light it up from behind the arc, and that has been a huge factor so far for the Blue Jays.
Looking at some of these numbers, 16 for 30 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3. Great numbers for the Firebirds. Rebounds were really leading the way of Carthage throughout most of the first half, but the Blue Jays kind of crawled back and are within 5. So just the small things started adding up. The percentage starting adding up very quickly in terms of the field goal percentage shooting, and they started to get that 1 or 2 more rebounds and weren't necessarily needing those second chance points. 39-32 your score. Let's talk about this scenario. If you are Elmhurst, what are you doing in the second half similarly or differently maybe than what we saw in half number 1?
I mean, I think it's hard to rely completely on outside shooting, so you're going to want to find some sort of inside game, cutting to the basket, and not rely completely from behind the arc. Defensively for the Blue Jays, they've really been burned on those open looks from behind the arc from Carthage. So we saw earlier on that Elmhurst, one of the better teams in holding their opponents to shooting poorly from the three-point arc. They haven't done that so far, but can they slow down the Firebirds' three-point shooting, and can they find some alternative routes to scoring on their end as well? As you can see here, the leaders of the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, both Pearsons combining for 15 points, but it's really been Dominic Trellenberg, and his matchup against Ryan Johnson in the first half has tilted his way because he has drawn a few fouls from Ryan Johnson, has had a few blocks, so he's done a awesome job defending one of the best in the CCIW in Ryan Johnson.
Firebirds ranked number 17 in the nation. That is such an accomplishment. Head coach Steve Jarakovic told us in the postgame show just a few days ago, it wasn't necessarily something they were looking for in 1 year. They knew it was going to take time, and Riley Brooks has been a big part of that.
Yeah, he started the game out hot, hitting a couple threes early, and he is one of those guys that for Carthage, those points can come from anywhere at any time because there's not many players in the CCIW at better getting their own shot off. But you can see Ryan Johnson struggling early, 3 turnovers, just 3 of 8 from the floor. And really, I think a huge factor, as you can see, Griffin Dunn is 4 of 5 shooting, and he has had some nice, easy buckets taken into the basket, and that has been a nice little output out of Griffin Dunn, as we mentioned, more known for his defense, but what a uptick in offense he's seen this season.
We're going to take a very quick timeout. When we come back, second half action on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Carthage has won 2 out of the last 3 against the Blue Jays of Elmhurst, and they're looking to make it 3 out of the last 4. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Ferreri, joined, as always, by Eric Elger. The Firebirds 20 minutes away from hosting the CCIW Championships, as well as outright winning the regular season title. They lead 39-32.
I gotta say, Peter, I enjoyed the little reporting on the street you did there at the concession stand. I think that could be could be a new
segment.
Yeah.
Just standing in line. Well, what's funny is I actually wasn't buying anything. So here's the story for anybody that's listening of history. I knew that one of my very good friends was a very good athlete here at Carthage. We'll just say a few years ago. We won't say many. Next thing you know, they'll be calling him 60 years old. But many years ago, he was very good. I come to find out he is a Hall of Famer for Carthage College, and his name is on the hallway wall right outside the concession stand. So I went to go see it, got a selfie with it. So shout out to mighty Matt Malik. Turns out was one of the best volleyball and track and field athletes this school's ever had. And so whilst taking a picture with a name on a wall, that was the chatter I heard. Griffin Dawn tries for the second chance, can't find it.
That's a nice little area they have, and we've seen some of the improvements at the Tarble. They have those cool screens and the trophy case. So always looking to celebrate athletes from the past here at Carthage.
Drive in, just lost the handle, went off his own knee. Pearson was looking for a call, but even if there was a slight touch, it ricocheted off of his own knee on its way out of play. Foul now called against Pearson, so it goes out of bounds under his own accord, and head coach John Baines is saying, you got to think.
I was just going to say, John Baines, looking right at Pearson there and being like, hey, he's got 3 fouls now.
Yeah.
That's another reason why that was a foul they really need him to take. So
ill-advised pass. Williams couldn't get to there. 39-32 your score.
There's really not been a lot of fouls. Only 3 free throws for both teams on each side. And it has been a clean game here. And it's really been a lot of jump shots behind the arc and baskets right like that.
Ooh, you jinxed him. You jinxed him.
What a good look there, and just not able to capitalize. And Carthage fortunate to be back on the offensive end here.
Brooks pulls up, can't find it. Johnson, the offensive board, second time up, and good. Ryan Johnson, the big man in the middle, again off the bench a year ago as a true freshman, and now a CCIW Player of the Year candidate.
And there's why Carthage needs to have him in there, just someone who can just grind on the offensive rebounds and gets 2 there, and an easy putback for the Firebirds.
Down to 5. The step back for the lethal lefty, can't find it. Offensive rebound, off the rim, no good. So the second chance point for Jack Cherry, still couldn't find the bucket.
And just looking at this now, I mean, Elmhurst has only hit 5 shots that aren't a 3-point. So just 5 2-pointers so far in the game for Elmhurst. Kind of a surprising statistic this far into the game.
Along the right-hand side, thought about the shot, deciding to hold back is Blahout. Pump fake of his own right. Driving in right hand, and that's one of the reasons maybe they're not taking those shots. They're just not falling.
And Blahout's somebody that has really stepped up as a third scoring option for the Blue Jays. Has not done much tonight, just 2 points, 1 of 2 shooting. Carthage has held him quiet tonight.
Ryan Johnson almost comes away with the rebound. Elmhurst scoreless in the second half. Similar to how they started half number 1. Colton Sigel about to check in. A huge senior day performance this past weekend. And there indeed is the opening bucket for the Blue Jays in the second half out of Lake Park High School, Blahout. And you talk about during this timeout, let's keep you afloat at that out-of-town scoreboard. tied at 37 apiece, Carthage and Elmhurst in the women's side of things. With a win, Carthage will host next Tuesday, the 28th. With a loss, they are still in postseason contention if North Central indeed loses to Illinois Wesleyan, which they are doing now. So let's play scenarios on the women's side, so vital in the CCIW. A situation presents itself where Carthage wins, they're the 3 or 4 seed, they host next Tuesday here at Tarble Arena. If they lose, and if North Central loses, they will be locked in to a postseason spot, but it's going to be a much tougher climb to host. That will then determine what happens on Saturday. If you're Coach Jones, again, we talked to her in the postgame show this past week. She knew that that was their opportunity to win against the Thunder of Wheaton, to lock in a hosting opportunity. Now they got to try to, fight it out these final few games. As for this, what we have in front of us right now, Elmhurst trails 41-34. Neither team showing much offensively in the first 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, after you mentioned Elmhurst scoring 97 last game, and that third foul by Tegan Pearson was a huge foul for the Blue Jays, because you kind of see offensively that is somebody, when he's on the floor and he plays 32 minutes almost a game, that's just an offensive threat that they can always rely on. And so where do the Blue Jays turn when someone like him is off the floor? Blahoud stepped up last possession. Who else is going to continue to fill that scoring void for Elmhurst?
Riley Brooks gets the swing pass, can't find the bucket. 41-34. Elmhurst got very quickly back into the game with 3-point shooting. Almost finds one there. Unsuccessful. Let's see if Carthage decides to slow things down. Sigel drives the kick. Griffin Dawn right-hand floater and good. Nice no-look pass for Colton Sigel, a fan favorite for the Firebirds.
Yeah, Sigel, what a pass there. Just slings it, one-arm pass to Griffin Dawn, and Dawn always lurking in the paint. He has that soft touch, able to capitalize.
Johnson from downtown, 46-34, lead back to double digits, a 12-point lead as Johnson's now 2 for 3 from 3. Carthage leads.
Yeah, one of the better CCIW three-point shooters, and he's had a pretty quiet night, as you've mentioned, not really asserting himself offensively, just 3 of 4 from the field, but he's someone that seems like if he's got that three early in the shot clock, especially on that wing, he can be so lethal, as you saw there. And Carthage continuing to hold Elmhurst back by timely shooting and good team basketball, as you see A.J. Johnson, just a smooth release. Butter. And yeah, Carthage has really done a nice job of continuing. I mean, they've really not let Elmhurst get too close in this game, just by sustaining possession after possession of offensive pressure. And Elmhurst is going to have to continue to look for some ways of where they can get some points.
Looking at the scoring output between these two squads as we sit with 14:35 remaining. Leading scorer is Brooks, 13 points, 5 for 11 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. As mentioned, Dawn is the only Firebird who's been at the free throw line. He's 1 for 3. And Pearson, remember, he had a 3-point opportunity and made 1 of 3. That's it. So it's been those two players at the free throw line. A quick game, as we are just at about the 1 hour mark in real time.
Yeah, and that's a lot been, like we said, there's just, you're 5 minutes into the game. It's just been that one foul, really unnecessary foul. As Pearson, we got both Pearsons back into the game. So expect Elmhurst to continue to look for their hot scoring guard, Tegan Pearson.
The lefty delivers. Dom Trellenberg.
Again, as you mentioned, he's their second leading scorer, and when they got both of them on the floor, that just provides more options for the Blue Jay and makes them tougher to defend.
Dawn looks for Williams. Johnson, the bounce pass to Williams, up, under, nice move, oh, it just misses. It wanted to go in and then changed its mind.
I had a strange roll out of the hoop, and what a nice job by Williams getting that shot off. Not able to connect, though.
And just like that, back-to-back threes. That's what got the Blue Jays back in the contest in half number one. 6 in a row, 2 quick back-to-back threes for the Blue Jays. They're now within 6 of the Firebirds.
Yeah, how about that from the freshman, Talon Pearson. He has had some scoring punch off the bench, sitting at right now 7 points, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. So he has come on off the bench, looking confident, ready to score, and just like that, Elmhurst down 6.
You a fan of this Houdini song? Do the kids talk about it in school, Eric?
You know what? I'm getting my magic-related songs confused because isn't the new Lady Gaga song Abracadabra?
It is. So there are 2 songs recently that mention abracadabra. So you have Lady Gaga's Abracadabra, Abracadabra, Gaga Ooh La La. Then you have Eminem that just had the abracadabra. And then you have Dua Lipa with Be My Houdini.
Hey,
Magic's making a comeback in 2025.
If you're looking to write a top 40 song here, you know, you might want to get some magic metaphors worked into your lyrics.
Well, Elmhurst has been nothing but magical at the three-point line today. Every time you might think, man, Carthage, it's just their night. Elmhurst says, not so fast. Both of these teams have secured the postseason. Elmhurst can jockey between the 5th and 6th seed. Potentially as high as the 4th seed with a win.
And they're going to be a dangerous team in the CCIW, just with the talent that they have and the ability to just put it up from the three-point line. I mean, that's one of those things you talk about. If you're the underdog, what's a way that you can come out with a victory over a higher-ranked team? And one of the best ways to do it is just knock down a bunch of threes, and they can do that with the best of them in the CCIW.
Dawn, the turnaround jumper, that falls. Dawn of a new day for the Firebirds, as he has been nothing but a spark plug for Carthage. Trying for the 4-point play, doesn't get it to fall, but Tegan Pearson, stop me if you heard this, 3 free throws.
Yeah, both brothers getting a 3-point or 3 free throw opportunity. Talon has only knocked down 1 of his 3, but Tegan, a 88% free throw shooter. There we go. And he misses his first one. And hey.
So does he have to miss 2 out of the 3?
It says 2 straight, but I was saying maybe this is going to be that 3 straight. Oh. I think that guarantees cheese curds, but I'm going to get Culver's on the phone here and say we're going to need maybe a second option if he misses all 3 here. Oh.
So we'll have to get the report from Justin Corrigan, the public address announcer, what the rules are. Because the fans cheered and then they stopped because I think they have the same questions we do. A.J. Johnson coast to coast. Layup with the right hand.
Playing aggressive defense on A.J., and he's able to take it all the way to the basket. So sound with the basketball.
Williams drives baseline. Bounce pass. Johnson's open for 3. Front rim no good. His younger brother runs it down. One thing that is of to note, it is not often that the Pearson brothers are on the court at the same time. They are currently. Sigel! The 3 bomb for number 3. 53-41. Who are you going to call Colton Sigel.
What a punch off the bench he's provided all season, and we've seen him also be opportunistic defensively. He's someone that can kind of sneak around and poke the ball free and get a steal and get Carthage going on the other end, but a confident shooter. That one shot in the face of his defender.
Pearson gets the screen. When they are wide open, Elmhurst does not miss. Back to within 9. Can Carthage keep the distance? There is so much basketball left to be played. But every time Elmhurst has gotten that little run in them, Carthage weathers the storm and bounces back. Williams! Back and forth we go.
How about that? Carthage has done just all night, done a nice job of finding the open man, and there's been a lot of opportunities where they've skipped the ball across court to find someone open like A.J. Williams, who has knocked it down.
Pearson, what a move against Williams. Faked as he was going back outside, quickly turned it upfield. Elmhurst back to within 10. Sigel tries to get the screen, unable to do so. And Sigel moved and zigged while Johnson thought he was going to zag. And the Blue Jays take possession.
In Carthage, more turnovers right now than the Blue Jays. That was their 7th, potentially 8th. Sometimes this stat is a little slow to update. 8 turnovers, and Elmhurst, as I mentioned before, a minus team in the turnover category. Right now, they're +3.
A miss offensively. Offensive board, but it's poked out by the Firebirds. Possession will stay with the Blue Jays with 18 seconds remaining.
John Witcher for the Blue Jays, one of those instant offense type of players. A good shooter, and he can be someone that can fill it up for the Blue Jays off the bench.
Under 10. Quick pass inside. The pump fake. Left hand up and 1. Trellenberg, the 6'5 junior, 15 points and a chance to make it 16.
Yeah, just taking it into the teeth of A.J. Williams, trying to stay in front, but Trellenberg just too much for the plus defender, A.J. Williams. And now something to take note, Elmhurst just 2 of 7 from the free throw line. You're gonna wonder if they're gonna want some of those back here as the game tightens up here with 10 minutes to go.
Trellenberg goes over, or points over to the bench. That's me. Head coach Baines assisted this season by John Chang, Melissa Schwab, and Aiden Chang. Grad assistant Nick Fertita. Williams gets the offensive board. Helped out by Johnson, just fighting for it.
To say Johnson gets kind of the hockey assist on the rebound there, keeping it live. A.J. Williams picking up the scraps. We mentioned about him being at the right place at the right time a lot offensively. There he was, and able to capitalize.
And that strong pass by Adjahong Beta sends it 4 rows into the bleachers here at Tarble.
Nice reaction out of the crowd there. They enjoyed a little pass there from the Blue Jays.
Lead sits at 10. 3 players in double digits for Elmhurst. 3 players in double digits for the Firebirds. They gave Dawn the 3, decided not to take it. A.J. Johnson will. Can't find it. Blue Jays now with an opportunity to cut it back to single digits.
3 players now for Carthage with at least 8 rebounds. A.J. Williams, Griffin Dunn, Ryan Johnson.
Another trifecta for Jack Cherry Bomb. 58-51. They're just raining from three right now. 11 for 24.
And again, you don't see many times that a team makes more threes than twos. They are well ahead of that. Nice cut there from A.J. Williams.
A.J. Williams having himself a nice little evening. Isn't relied on as much offensively, more that court general, get it where it needs to go. Pearson is too strong off the back iron.
A.J. Williams in double-double alert, 9 points, 8 rebounds. We'll have to see. I would not guess he's had many of those in his career.
Sets fire to the rain. A.J. Johnson, 63-51.
Classic A.J. Johnson night. Not really forcing things offensively. Just takes his opportunities and is so efficient. Someone who is also efficient, Trellenberg, as he's now 7 of 13 from the field, up to 17 points for the talented junior.
Full timeout on the court, lead exactly at 10. There's that Griffin Dawn turnaround floater. Bounces and found its way in. Again, just Carthage is shooting at a clean 50% from the field, 43 from three. But I think, as you mentioned, that big difference that truly adds to that 10 points. Carthage still sitting at a total of 3 free throw attempts. Elmhurst at 7, but they're only 2 for 7. You take away the rebounds, you take away those free throws, it is a completely different game right now. As once again, we're here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. I don't know if you're Elmhurst what more you can do. You're making everything you can. Nothing's working as much inside. You just need Carthage to miss a little bit more, and right now it's easier said than done.
And yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the free throws again. As we talked about last game, Carthage needed a 20 for 20 effort from the free throw line from the Johnson brothers. So going from a game where they got 20 points in the free throw line from the brothers to just 3 attempts today, completely different type of game for the Firebirds, but they can show you they can win it ugly, get into the free throw line, but tonight it's really been a great shooting night from the team and done a nice job defensively limiting some of the best players in the CCIW offensively as they have a 10-point lead here with 7:40 to go. Yeah, I can't remember many games where Carthage has not been at or near double-digit free throw attempts, so Elmer's playing clean defensively, but still getting the looks.
The movement is so clean right now for Carthage. That's something we could bring up in the post-game show with head coach Steve Jarakovic. Turnaround jumper, Brooks, no good. Let it be noted, Brooks has now taken the tape off of the right wrist and right thumb. So again, you know, maybe that support was impeding his shooting. Johnson thought he got fouled on the way up. No whistle, lead sits at 10.
And that's something Carthage has done, as we talked about how Elmhurst really relying strictly on the three-point shot. Carthage has found those cuts to the basket that provide opportunities. A.J. Johnson getting a good look, just not able to connect.
I mean, truly, the Blue Jays, as they make another three, Trellenberg just trots back. Every single Blue Jay was at the three-point line, and they were just swinging it around until somebody decided to pull the trigger. Unbelievable. It's working. That's the thing that's crazy. But then they're allowing A.J. Johnson to drive the lane untouched. Out-of-town scoreboard update, tied at 47. Elmhurst and Carthage on the women's side with 3:37 remaining in period number 3. A three-pointer, a miss, but long rebound by Trellenberg as they all reset up at the three-point line. Hand in the face, Doesn't matter. Pearson again, 17 points. There's not a three-point shot they don't like.
Yeah, you can tell that. I mean, this is kind of how they've been built, but I don't know if it's been to this extreme. But this is where Carthage, as I said, is, you know, if Elmhurst is going to live and die by the three, Carthage, I think, is going to feel more confident that they can be more consistent with how much they've gotten to the rim, especially this second half. It has felt like almost, you know, every shot has been right under the hoop, and they've been getting some good looks. And Ryan Johnson there drawing the foul just to get the fourth free throw of the night for Carthage.
Ryan Johnson, a 7.69 free throw shooter. So a rare miss. Rare.
It's the first time Elmhurst has seen him miss a free throw.
Misses them both. I don't know. It's one of those games, Eric. I don't know if I've seen Ryan Johnson miss 2 free throws in a row.
I mean, logically thinking, the three-point shot is harder to make than free throws and two-pointers, right?
Yes.
That is not happening currently. Both teams shooting better from three than they are, or the Carthage close, but Elmhurst shooting better from three than they are at free throws and field goal percentage. In Carthage, near 50%, but a sizzling 43% from three themselves. So a weird kind of shooting night, for sure.
Timeout on the court. Carthage takes the full timeout. So one thing I want to mention is we sit a 6-point lead with 5:09 to remain. Not much is similar between today and what we saw against the Thunder this weekend. But one thing that is, it's a slight lead for Carthage. And just like they did on Saturday, they maintained enough of a lead to come away with the victory. What's the difference today? Is Elmhurst is just shooting a lethal percentage from three, that if Carthage doesn't continue to find these opportunities once every 2 possessions, Elmhurst can be back in this game in the blink of an eye. And so right now, if you're Carthage, if you're head coach Steve Jarakovic, you're trying to tell the team, look, they can come back fast. Maybe you start strategizing, use a little bit more time on the shot clock. I don't know, per se, what effect it's going to have offensively from Carthage. But if you're Elmhurst, you're just telling yourself, just keep shooting.
Yeah, and I think something that you mentioned in the game on Saturday is that I think Carthage is doing a nice job of someone like Soren Richardson for the Thunder, who got to 30 points last game, but it wasn't the most efficient type of shooting night. So something similar is like Carthage right now is kind of letting Trellenberg get his, Pearson get his. You know, they got 20 and 17 on the night, but are those 2 scores going to be enough to keep Elmhurst in this game and to eventually get ahead? I think Carthage is going to say no and just say, hey, yeah, you might, these 2 guys might get hot from behind the arc, but if we can kind of keep the other players around them down, that's going to be a successful recipe for the Firebirds.
Johnson looked for the give and go. Williams stepped back, a 3-pointer of his own. Bounces in and good. Anything you can do, I can do better. A.J. Williams at 12 points.
After having an unfriendly roll at his 2-point attempt earlier in this half, gets the friendly bounce there from 3. And what a great shooter A.J. Williams has been all season. Over 40% from 3 himself.
Turnaround jumper. Bahout able to answer. Not a lot of transfers for Elmhurst. Simon Weisserman out of McAllister and Ryan Isaacson out of Merrimack and Robert Rashevsky from Aurora. But besides that, homegrown products.
And there, Carthage continuing to be relentless, attacking the basket. Ryan Johnson able to free himself up, an easy layup, and takes a knock on the head. He won't mind, as he's going to try to get the 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
I figure when you're that tall, it can't hurt that much if it's not coming, direct contact.
And he's someone we've talked about all season, man. If there's anyone who's taken more bruises than Ryan Johnson, I would doubt it maybe Griffin Dawn would be up there,
Sure.
but Ryan Johnson has just battled every night and has taken elbow after elbow from.
Well, Griffin Dawn yearns for contact. He looks for it. Everybody just hits on Johnson. Think about it. There was a game early in the season you and I called just a few weeks ago where Johnson missed the entire second half because of that abdominal injury. Nemanja Stojic had to go in. We're getting the thumbs up now as Brooks is taking a second. I believe it's A.J. Johnson slow to get up. And he is. So A.J. Johnson took the charge, but a thumbs up was given by Brooks.
Yeah, right. He's like, I watched a YouTube video on the way over here. I'm qualified to be a trainer. But
So,
hopefully he is okay.
Yeah. Well, and one thing to be said with this specific Firebird squad, we compared and contrasted last year to this. One thing last year where we mentioned how 3 out of the 5 starters are no longer on this team, for one reason or another, those bench players are now the starters, but it has diminished the depth for the Firebirds at certain positions. Now, one of them where the depth still exists, of course, is the guard. You got Tanner Lamb, you got Arnold, you got Colton Sigel. Not quite sure what just happened there.
Taylor Pearson maybe watching a little Premier League, trying to draw the foul there. Not successful. Don't know if he's going to win any awards for acting anytime soon.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Johnson pulls up leaner and gets fouled by Adjahung Beta. So with 3:33 and 30 seconds on the shot clock, 15, A.J. Johnson with 15 points is going to look for 16 and 17, and for all intents and purposes, the best free throw shooter in the CCIW.
Yeah, 90% free throw shooter. But in the night we've been having, free throws been hard to come by. And this is where we talked about time and game, time and time again for the Firebirds. A.J. Johnson lingers around, just kind of waits around in the shadows offensively early on in the game. But when the time starts to get, when the game starts to close down, it's number 15 who has come up big for the Firebirds game after game.
Lead at 9. Elmhurst is kept up. Trellenberg can't do it with that basket. Arguably a huge possession for Carthage. Can they take more time off the clock and extend the lead back to 10 plus? The more baskets you make Elmhurst have to take because they can get back quickly by the 3 ball. Under 10. Williams leans in for contact, rolls around and almost had it. Unsuccessful in terms of the point column, but at least they used all of the shot clock. Screen from way downtown. Tegan Pearson, my goodness.
That thing was straight through the net. And you can see it's no mistake why he's one of the best three-point shooters this conference has. And the graduate student spent a lot of time in the gym perfecting that shot.
That is Steph Curry range.
And just 6 points. It's crazy to think that, Carthage literally been leading the entire game, but while it's felt like a comfortable, type of Carthage game. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, and there's Elmhurst lingering around, just 6 points behind. And this is going to be, as always, important for Carthage to try and close out this victory. A lot of their games have been won here at the charity stripe.
Ryan Johnson finds it. Lead back to 8. Ryan Johnson, a quiet 19 points.
Elmhurst going to have to think about being efficient here, and a good look by Blavut
It was.
there. Just
It was.
not able to connect, and that was the kind of look they needed to hit here. Something that wasn't strictly relying on the three, did all the hard work, just couldn't capitalize with the right hand.
Again, another short shot, which most teams make. Elmhurst, it's the opposite. The longer range it is, it seems the more efficient they are. And a foul going to be called on Ajahan Beta.
I think they got him trying, maybe grabbing onto the arm there of Ryan Johnson, and Carthage again, they're going to take that. As Elmhurst up to 8 fouls. A couple more, they'll be double all the way home here.
Good.
And so if you're Carthage, I think continue to just play straight up defense. You don't want to foul. You don't want to get them getting those 3 free throws again. But if you just put a hand in the face, stay solid defensively.
Right now, Ryan Johnson and Griffin Dawn both at double-doubles. And another basket by Pearson. Stop me if you heard before. What a run. Tegan Pearson, the leading scorer for Elmhurst. He averages 16.2 a game. He's up to 23 for number 21.
I wish we had a camera there on Coach Jurakovic, because as that play was developing, Coach Jurakovic did not like what he saw, because he could see Pearson coming off the screen, and Coach Jurakovic was jumping up and down because he almost could see the future and knew that thing was going to get knocked down. So Coach Jurakovic's going to say, hey, we need to cut around those screens, get hands in their face, because the one thing we cannot let happen is continue to let someone like Pearson, Tegan Pearson, continue to get those open looks, because, man, he knocks them down coldly.
75-69 your score. Very quick out-of-town update. On the women's side, Elmhurst 57, Carthage 55. Carthage was up 54-52. 5-3 run. Both games coming down to the wire. Rebound still favoring Carthage, 39-29.
And how about the effort? I mean, we haven't mentioned Adjahang Beta. Elmhurst has 29 rebounds as a team. He's up to 15 rebounds. So you can see why they like him as a freshman. I mean, he's already a force defensively and on the boards, but they can continue
15
to develop,
rebounds.
Yeah, they can continue to develop his offensive game. He's going to be had a bright future here for the Blue Jays.
Lead sits at 6. That's 2 quick threes for the Blue Jays. Carthage would love nothing more than at least getting a point, causing it to be a 3-possession game. Williams drives, contact! Can't get the and one, but at least an opportunity to get one of those points, as we just mentioned.
And A.J. Williams, his game is so simple. I mean, he's a catch-and-shoot type of three-point shooter. And there you can see is that when you see him behind the three-point line, you know he can get that shot off and is such a good shooter that if he decides to just take boom, catch, and take that one dribble, he's by you in a second. And there, a nice take as Carthage has continued time and time again to batter it towards the rim here. And those free throw numbers have gone up, and they've gotten some good looks here in the second half.
Williams gets it. 77-69, 55 seconds remaining. Elmhurst still has time, trailing by 8, and they have the abilities and laser vision to get those points. Left-hand layup, no good. Dawn with the board. Kicks out for Dawn. Dawn tries to get some contact. Floats ahead for Williams. Ahead Dawn, the two-hand slam for Griffin Dawn. Lead back to 10.
Starting to become a Griffin Dawn staple, those exclamation point dunks. He had that picture. Did you see that picture he had on Instagram? It was so cool. I think it was against Illinois Wesleyan, just dunking the ball, has his tongue stuck out. And there again, for all intents and purposes, the exclamation point to this game, getting free, throwing it down. And not that not to get ahead of ourselves. You still gotta make your free throws here, make it tough on Elmhurst. But
shot good. But to go off what you're saying, Eric, Carthage and Tarble 25 seconds away from the regular season CCIW title. What a feat for a team that was desperate for wins a few years ago. Now the cream of the crop. 15 remains. And a foul near the end. A technical on A.J. Johnson. Head coach Jarakovic saying, "What are you doing?" Sigel about to check into the game. Let's take another look. Leaning in with a shoulder was Tegan Pearson.
I'm going to say Pearson took some exception to, I think, Ryan Johnson pointing to the bench, kind of saying, hey, we're bringing this thing home. But,
yeah,
I mean, he really didn't need to get close to Ryan Johnson.
Well, and you see, sorry, just to point out, Eric, you see Sigel immediately try to pull his teammates back. And then, that was Dawn that I think came in with the left. As we have a cheerleader flipping on the court. 9 seconds remain. So I'm they're reviewing right now who should get called with what. If you're Elmhurst, again, these teams may meet up in a week. So let's just say emotions are at a high.
I was going to say, I was surprised if that is on A.J. Johnson, because from what we know of number 15 for the Firebirds, not the most fiery on the court. So I would predict A.J. Johnson, not many technical fouls in his career. And it did look like Griffin Dawn came in there with a little shove. I don't think it's anything over the top. Do you? Just a
good 80s movie.
That's the arm wrestling, right?
Yep, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I know you and your Sly Stone. What a shot there, Coach Jarakovic.
Yeah. Again, stick around for the post-game show. Head coach Steve Jarakovic will be joining us. I'm sure he may or may not have something to say about this final little, let's just say, kerfuffle.
It's a great word.
You could say scuffle or situation. Shout out to the coaching staff for Carthage. Tyler Pierce, DeAndre Evans, Josh Washburn, just the amazing job they've done with head coach Steve Jericho. I love that Carthage sweatshirt, by the way.
Yeah.
You have it?
I asked
Oh, okay.
Sam Boyle for one, and they don't have one of those right now. But
Oh.
I am totally in agreement with that. Is a nice looking sweatshirt there.
Officials still looking at where the contact was and who made it.
This is where we might need to go to sideline reporter Steve Elger, my dad.
I thought that
right
was him.
Right behind the action there.
I thought that was him sitting back there, patiently waiting. Some may say patience is but a virtue. 81-69 your score. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri.
And, I mean, kind of a, not a letdown, but I mean, Carthage, they were really ready to see the 9 seconds out, claim the
Yeah.
CCIW crown, and a little excitement, if you will, at the end here, just slowing that celebration down.
Well, and both head coaches having conversation right now. You know, the history and respect that these two have for each other. Coach Jerichovic saying, yeah, we're good, we're good. Again, they're rivals. This isn't like it's a non-conference game and it's the Banana Slugs of, UC Santa Cruz. These are two teams that see each other a minimum of 2 times a year, a potential to see each other in 7 days. I get it.
And I think I just saw Steve mention to his team, like, hey, this game's going to be over and we're getting out of here. Just let's not.
Okay, and so we do. Also, I wanted to note we have security now over at the Elmhurst bench. I'm just making an observation. Not quite. Okay, here we go. So 3 technicals were called. Pearson fouled out with that 5th foul. 81-69. 9 ticks on the clock. Ryan Johnson, point number 82.
And you just see backcourt there, guys like Colton Sigel, someone who's been with the Firebirds this entire career, so you gotta love guys like those seniors seeing this thing all the way through.
Colton Sigel, the senior, brings it up the court. Ladies and gentlemen, Carthage 83, Elmhurst 71. You are witness to your regular season CCIW champions and host of the 2025 CCIW tournament in a week's time. Eric, your thoughts?
I mean, we keep talking about it. It's just so awesome to see Coach Jerichovic continue to grow year after year after year, and to get to the top of the regular season. It's got to feel good for guys like Colton Sigel, guys like Nemanja Stojic, who we didn't see this game but has made contributions all season. Guys like Tanner Lamb. I mean, there's so many seniors. We just had the senior day last week, and got to be proud of those guys. And I think if you ask Coach Jerichovic, though, there are greater goals than the regular season, and he's going to keep his team focused and see if we can get, with home court advantage, can they get the tournament title as well. As we still get a game Saturday, I know, but yeah, it's going to be fun to see. Can they continue to climb, as the Firebirds have not looked back in the time Coach Jerichovic has been here.
We're going to take a timeout before head coach and conference champ Steve Jerichovic joins us once again. Firebirds 83, Elmhurst 71. Don't go anywhere. Head coach Steve Jerichovic joining us momentarily on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Fans, at this time, we ask that you please direct your attention to the floor for this evening's CCW Trophy presentation.
Joined now by conference-winning head coach Steve Jarakovic. Steve, we're not the first. We won't be the last. Congratulations. What does it feel like?
Better than I thought it would, to be honest.
Yeah.
Expected game against a really good opponent, physical team that you knew was going to be like every other CCW game we played all year, a grind all the way to the end, and just proud of our guys persevering and making the plays that we needed to down the stretch. I told them in the locker room that I think I said it to you on senior day last Saturday anyways. This is a team 3 years ago, the senior class that was 2-14 in conference. So we've come a long way. We really have. This team stuck together, get a chance to host. Now here, don't have to leave Tarble again, outside of going to Milliken on Saturday to wrap up the regular season. And more basketball here is always good for us. I think we're 23-2 in our last 25. It's such a great home court advantage for us, so we're excited to get that opportunity again.
We were just talking about how last time you played Elmhurst, you got down early in the game. There is a 23-6 run that you went against that Elmhurst got ahead. But this game, a complete different story, led the whole game, and it felt like anytime Elmhurst did have a little run, your guys just stayed ahead of it, got a nice possession out of, or a nice defensive stop. What does that say about the team that you see today?
Battled through. We said we needed a 40-minute effort in a game like this too. They cut it to 6. A.J. Johnson hits a 3. A.J. Williams, big basket when we needed it too. Griffin, fantastic job all around. Ryan battled through in a physical game where they tried to beat him up for the 40 minutes as well. And all in all, I could not be more proud of this group. They've earned this right. They've earned this celebration right now too. And we're not done yet. We've got a lot of basketball hopefully still to play, and excited to get back here next week.
Coach, we're going to let you go so you can go celebrate. We're not going to keep you here much longer. But again, looking now ahead, you're going to celebrate. You're going to have a good time. You still got a Milliken game ahead of you, and then you got the postseason you're hosting. What are your goals for the next few weeks so you don't get rusty, rest some players maybe? What are we looking at?
Take it one day at a time.
Okay.
Continue to get better, stay healthy. We got a big game on Saturday to finish the regular season.
Yeah.
I also told the guys in the locker room we have 13 conference wins. It's the second time in school history that a team's got 13 CCW wins. So proud of them for that accomplishment. No team has 14.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're really looking forward to. Hopefully going to a place in Milliken. Milliken had the bye on today, and tough trip, always going down to Decatur. Hopefully we come back tomorrow focused, ready to go to finish the regular season. And come back Monday, Tuesday, ready to work. We got some ads that we're going to come in. We're not sure who our opponent's going to be until Tuesday night, but more focused on us those first couple days too, and just continue to improve as the day goes on.
Coach, go cut down the net. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys.
An emotional head coach, Steve Jarakovic, understandably and rightfully so. What a moment to be here to witness what's in front of us right now. They're cutting down the net at Tarble Arena.
I mean, you can tell just how proud he is of his guys, and it's just so rewarding to see a team go from 2 wins a couple seasons ago to 13 wins and potentially 14 wins. So, I mean, I think that's all you need to say really about this program, about this head coach, about seniors, about guys like Nemanja Stojic. It's just they've put in the work to get to this point. And, I mean, Coach Jarakovic mentioned these guys deserve it. And so rewarding and so fun to see for the Firebird family.
Indeed it is. Let's look ahead at what's in store for both of these teams. Elmhurst, they've locked in the postseason. Seeding, though, has something to play with that. So this Elmhurst team still has some basketball ahead of them. They take on Carroll and the Pioneers this upcoming Saturday at 4:15. And then as mentioned, and it bears mentioning again, the Firebirds, one more game that stands between them and a record 14 conference wins. That's going to be 4:15 this Saturday away on the road in Decatur against Milliken. Let's look ahead now to the upcoming broadcast schedule for the Firebird Broadcasting Network and all the games that will be occurring on live.carthage.edu. Men's lacrosse versus Dubuque and water polo versus McKendree on Saturday. Next Wednesday, men's lacrosse versus Edgewood and men's volleyball versus North Central. Again, an opportunity potentially next Tuesday for the women's basketball team to be hosting a game here at Tarble Arena. That to be determined. And then next Friday, the CCIW Track and Field Indoor Championships, water polo versus McAllister. And you know what? They left a little blank spot at the bottom. Carthage will be hosting a postseason basketball game right here at Tarble Arena. Eric, final thoughts before we sign off for the day.
I am so excited for the CCIW tournament, I got to say. Because I was on the floor that PA season. They won two wins in the conference, and I got to say, it wasn't fun to see this team and guys work so hard and not get the results. So they got the result in the regular season, but, man, it's going to be so exciting to see how this team finishes the rest of the year out.
Indeed it will be. Well, we want to thank you all for being with us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network all season. We're not done. You'll hear our beautiful voices a week from now, whoever the opponent for Carthage may be on the men's side, women's to be determined. But we want to thank you for joining us not only tonight, but all season, and for executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, as well as the rest of the crew, Matt, Addison, Laura, Marissa, Ainsley, and Daniel. Again, a student production here at Carthage College. This program has been a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College, copyright 2025. 83-71, your final Carthage regular season CCIW champions. Once again, I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Eric Elger. Congratulations and go Birds.